the piggy bank. So I busted it open and I folded up all the ones. Then I drove my old Chevy down to that place off the interstate where the dirty old men pretend that they're having fun. So I'm sitting down here on the Sniffer's Road, catching me a whiff of that camel toe. See some B's and D's and a couple C-section scars. There's a DJ playing bad rock and roll, pussy juice dripping down a stripper's pole. Life isn't lonely when you're sitting on Sniffer's Road.
Oh, what's going on, YouTube? Hope everyone's having a good one. I know I am. We got some stuff to talk about with Tommy here. We're going to go ahead and get on into it, guys. We got to talk about another fake internet influencer. Very disappointed. Alright, guys, we're going to be talking about our favorite fucking lolcow fake YouTuber today, and that's old Tommy Tulips. Old Tommy Tulips over here. So for a while now, if any of you have been watching like I have, Tommy here has been pretty judgmental of a lot of people, right? Not that we all aren't, right? That's what we do. We judge people here. But he's always tried to act like he's a little above it, right? Like he's made some mistakes in his past, and his supporters will be quick to tell you, leave him alone, he did his time, and he's a different person now, right? They get all upset, you know, because you bring up his criminal past. He himself, I mean, I'm sure if you watch me, you watch Elite, so you saw the video where he played the podcast that he was on like 19 years ago or whatever it was. Back in like 2012 or whatever, was that 13 years? I don't know the exact time frame, but he was on that podcast talking about his criminal past and how he couldn't stay out of jail. He was just a fuck up his whole life, right? But his supporters will be quick to tell you how much he's changed, right? And we need to stop bringing up that criminal past because it doesn't define who he is today. He's a completely different human being. He served his time, he did his due diligence, and now he's an upstanding citizen, and he's better than all of us because he goes to the gym and he doesn't talk about people's physical appearance or make fun of them. And, you know, he's just completely changed as a person. Or has he? Let's get into that. So, we'll start with the fitness stuff, right? Tommy's always been about the fitness stuff, right? Talking about everybody needs to get in shape. Shape this, shape that, exercise this, 150 dumbbell swings a day, kettlebell swings a day. But then if you really look at Tommy's quote-unquote fitness, it's not really fitness, right? He's crackhead skinny, which is different from fit. And I can prove that. Let's get into it. So if you remember, he had posted this video of him training to do a marathon, and I mean, just look at the run, right? I'm not saying I'm a marathon runner, but my fucking knees bend, right? You know what I mean? They don't knock together like that. That ain't normal. Something's wrong. And it gets worse. Then he posted this video of him doing this, I'm assuming, I don't really know the ring stuff. It's similar to a muscle up, but it's with rings instead of a bar. I don't know if it's the same, if that's just a muscle up or not. I don't know. Don't care. Point is he's sitting there flipping and flopping back and forth like a dead fish, right? Just, whee, look at him flipping back and forth, right? That's so much strength there when you use momentum to lift your body, right? There's a reason why he chose CrossFit, right? The Dane Cook of exercising. Because you don't have to have proper form, you don't have to be good at it, you just have to show up and flop the fuck around, right? He's talking about how he doesn't want to get out of the truck in 20 years and have a bunch of injuries, but then his exercise of choice is fucking CrossFit, where it's rife with injuries because they don't have proper form and they just flop the fuck around all day, right? And again, I'm not saying that I'm some fucking superstar athlete, but I'm not flopping around like a dead fish telling everybody that I'm in great shape. Then we got his truck stop shower physique update. Apparently that's the thing to do. Just ask TC Boggs. And you can see he's like scrunching forward as hard as he can, trying to make them abs pop. You know, he's trying to make it look as aesthetic as possible. But think about this. His head already looks like Skeletor. He's got bony little arms, tiny little twig legs that are as thin as a Twizzler stick, and he still has body fat. You can see it in his stomach. You know, it's like, how much fat do you gotta lose still? You're already fucking tiny. You're already a twig man. You know what I mean? I get the cut, dude, I get it. But when's the bulk happen? Or at least the muscle building part. You're lifting weights every day, but every video we see you, you're smaller and smaller. You know, you claim you're eating 2,300 calories a day, but you keep getting smaller. I know what that's a sign of, right? I mean, we already said it is crackhead skinny. And I know he doesn't like that. He says he's been sober, but more on that in a second, about the lies of sobriety. He claims he's been sober, at least for the meth side of things. But in that podcast that Elite shared from fucking 15 years ago or wherever it was, his voice is less burnout than it is today, right? And you get that fucked up voice from smoking meth. So, what the fuck's going on, right? You're eating healthy. You're eating supposedly 2,300 calories a day, which would probably be about right for your body size if you're going to try to maintain weight. But you just keep shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. You never put on any size. And you've been losing weight for as long as I've been watching you, and you don't look any closer to a single-digit body fat. I don't understand. Like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? But he's telling us about fitness and health. Meanwhile, I've got one of his friends in my comment section talking about how Tommy walked away from him because he refused to lose weight. Right, he abandoned that chick in Phoenix that was helping pay his bills because she wouldn't lose weight. You know, meanwhile, this guy's only skinny because he's probably still smoking meth. I can't prove that, that's opinion, but it definitely seems suspicious that you're on a fucking fitness kick for so long and you don't put on any weight, you just keep losing, but you look terrible. Something ain't right, guys.
All right, today we're going to talk about a troll. And he's a good troll, okay? He's really, really good at what he does. I'm not quite sure why he's trolling me with my tiny little subscriber count. There's really nothing in it for him.
All right, and there's the beginning of the damage control. Sorry the audio changed. It's fucking hot and I had to turn the truck on. So he's already in damage control mode, right? Makes a video almost immediately after Elite dropped the first video about him. Had to make a response, and he starts that video with I'm just a small little YouTuber. Why is Elite coming after me? I don't have no subscribers. Right? Meanwhile, he likes to look down his nose at other channels, you know, even myself. Mr. By the Mile, of course, is one that he loves to talk about, having no subscribers. And talk about how they don't have any subscribers, right? He has his monetized channel, right? But as soon as there's some criticism of him, he starts playing victim. Oh, I'm just a small channel. Why are they picking on little old me? Oh, goodness, right? Then he proceeds to insult Elite's appearance, which, I mean, fair, you know, fine. Do what you want to do, right? We all insult each other around here. But the difference is when he insults someone's appearance, not too long ago, near the beginning of all the trucker drama for him anyway, he made a point to say he was better than all of us because he doesn't do that. Now he does it on the regular. You know, I'm not saying that we don't do it, right? Because that's the game around here, right? Is who's a hypocrite and who's not. I'm not saying we don't do it, but you've never seen videos of me or Elite talking about how we would never insult someone's appearance, right? But this guy said that, and now here he is, a couple months later, down in the gutter with the rest of us, who he's supposed to be superior to. We got this guy. He had no right to tell your personal business like that because of your opinion. But I'm sure this guy had no issues with Truckin' Unfiltered talking about Gentry's personal business for YouTube clicks, right? These are the kind of hypocrites that are on the Trucking Unfiltered side of YouTube. I'm just saying, right? But then look at this other comment, right? Somebody's making assumptions about how Elite purchased his house, and here's Tommy agreeing with it as if it's fact with no proof, right? It's not really personal because it's not true, but I mean, it's definitely toeing the line, right? And Tommy, of course, was quick to agree. You know, instead of being like, whoa, 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 we don't talk about personal business around here. You can just see the hypocrisy, right? And then even if it was true, let's say it was true, right? And I'm not saying it is, but let's say it was true. Let's say Elite's wife did buy a house, right? The difference is they're married. He lives in that house. Meanwhile, Tommy's living in a fucking rent house for $2,500 a month that his girlfriend had to get because his credit score's probably fucked and he has a shitty record because of prison, right? So even if it was true, your situation is still worse. And again, guys, I'm not saying it's true. I'm just saying how ridiculous it is to criticize someone when your life isn't any better, right? And that's Tommy in a nutshell, is he criticizes everyone, but he ain't shit. And he hasn't made it anywhere in life. And he loves to say, I'm in the same place as Elite. I'm in the same place as Elite. No, you're not. You're living off women around the country in rent houses. And you can't decide who the fuck you are. But you're almost the same fucking age. Think about that. Right? And then we got Take a Ride. Old Tommy Tulips #1 fan, I would imagine. You know, he's talking about the criminal justice system did its job, right? Well,
are you sure about that?
What's wrong with his feet? Why the fuck would you film that? Anyway, so old Tommy Tulips here. I mean, look at his toes. I mean, 2 lips, right? You know, he's got nothing to be ashamed of, according to one of his followers, right? One of his sheeple. Which is funny because he accuses everybody else's followers of being sheeple. Says he's got nothing to be ashamed of, right? You know, maybe 4 or 5 months ago, he quit drinking. Not because he had a problem, not because there was anything wrong, not because he didn't have any self-control and that he wasn't able to act emotionally mature and not be insecure in public, right? He did that for health, right? He did that for fitness. He's got his life together, right? He served his time, all right? And he's honest. Unlike us trolls, Tommy is always honest. And he definitely wouldn't lie to his subscribers, either intentionally or by omission. Right, Take a Ride? Right? Well. Look at that arrest date. March 9th, 2026. That's pretty recent, right? I thought all that was in the past, right? I thought his in and out of prison criminal lifestyle didn't have anything to do with his present because he served his time and he's got nothing to be ashamed of, right? That was all old shit. He's matured since then. He's an emotionally mature and intelligent individual who's in 100% control of him and his emotions. Right? But he's got battery charges and destruction of property charges at a little roadside saloon close to where he lives, right? And I'm not going to dox his address unless I have to. That's why I covered it up in the charges. But he knows what this is, right? So Mr. I'm an emotionally mature, fully in control of myself person who's kumbaya and wise and, oh my God, I'm all into just fitness and whatever, right? Is out brawling in dirty fucking strip clubs? Right? And even though he's not, well, I mean, he didn't say it, but, you know, this is for Take a Ride, right? Mr. Take a Ride says he ain't got nothing to be ashamed of, right? He served his time, right? People keep telling me, especially when I bring it up, oh my God, why are you talking about his past? That was so old. That was so old. He's done nothing wrong since then, right? Why didn't he tell you guys about this? He wants to expose other people on the internet, namely Gentry, and other people that he disagrees with, but he would admit this from his channel. Why would he do that? If he was so honest, if he was so reformed. Doesn't make sense to me, guys. So Mr. Tommy, with his emotional maturity and his skinny girlfriend that he loves to talk about, right, has to go down to a shitty roadside strip club in the middle of nowhere, Kansas, to get his rocks off. And apparently, even though he's an almost 50-year-old man, he can't handle a strip club, gets into a brawl, destroys property on the property, and gets battery charges. Right? What are you at a strip club for? I thought your girlfriend was skinny and pretty. Isn't that what you wanted? Right? You left the fat one in Phoenix because she wouldn't lose weight, and you were quick to tell us about how skinny and pretty the new one is, yet you're at a strip club fighting like a young man, like an emotionally immature, and just immature in general, young man. But you're almost 50 years old. Criticizing other people's behavior on the internet when you can't even fucking control yourself. And you're so ashamed of it, you hid it from everybody, right? Oh yeah, you'll tell us about the 10 bank robberies, because that's old shit, right? If it's even true. Now that we know this dude's a fucking liar, and he's twisting a narrative to try to make himself look like something he's not, who knows how much of that other shit is even real? Right? The only proof we have is he was on a podcast fucking however many years ago. I think I said 2012 before, but I think it was more recent than that, like 2018 or something. But how can we trust this guy? Right? What right does he have to criticize anybody when he can't even fucking control himself in public? Right? He's told me and others that we're emotionally immature, insecure, overly critical, right? Just all kinds of insults about our character, right? But this guy can't control himself in a public space. I can go out and not get fucking battery charges, I'm just saying. And we got Tommy, right, criticizing other people's relationships, right? He loves to talk about Mr. By the Mile. I mean, I get it, the guy's arrogant, and he can be annoying talking about his union job every fucking 5 seconds. But his wife is at home taking care of kids and cooking dinner. Meanwhile, you got your girlfriend out in the yard working on your raggedy-ass fucking pickup truck after she bonded your dumb ass out of jail because you can't control yourself in public. Right? You're in a $2,500 a month fucking rent house because your credit ain't good enough to buy a house and your record's fucked up. But you're criticizing other people's lifestyles and relationships. Who the fuck are you to do any of that? And it brings us back to this comment, right? Definitely nothing to be ashamed of. Well, Mr. Take a Ride, he bonded himself out of jail for $1,000. So I guess he did his time. He's got nothing to be ashamed of. Fucking fighting in shitholes in the middle of nowhere, little strip clubs. Right, catching charges at almost 50 years old when all that shit was supposed to be behind him. Nothing to be ashamed of. Right? But it's okay for him to criticize everyone else when clearly he doesn't have his shit together. I don't know, guys. I don't know, guys. He loves to say everybody else is sheeple. Yeah, we got commenters like this. Nothing to be ashamed of. Nothing at all. Not even a little bit. Okay. Sheeple. But this is the guy that's been criticizing everyone for what feels like a long time now. You know, months at least, if not longer. And it turns out that he needs to fix his own fucking life, right? A lot of us got problems. It's true, none of us are perfect, right? But the rest of us aren't catching fucking charges at almost 50 years old because we can't control ourselves in public. So this guy needs to really reevaluate his life before he comes on the internet and criticizes anybody, least of all any of us. Right? Maybe you need to go and find some people that are 60 years old and catching charges and tell them about how you need to stop catching charges in your 50s. Maybe that's the lane you should be in. But a guy who can't fucking stay out of jail 50 years later in life has no fucking business being on the internet criticizing anybody about anything. But hey, that's just my opinion. But guys, you tell me what you think. Right? And let's see what else we can find about this lying ass motherfucker.